Advisory Committee to order for Thursday, May 29th, 2014. It's have 12:07 in the PM. Okay, the first order of business is the roll call. I am here. Mr. Gilmore is here. Ms. Clements, Holli.
She had a email.
Okay. Dr. Szeremi. Oh, actually, Ms. Caufield, Assistant City Manager. Dr. Szeremi, you get an email from her?
She said last time she was
Yeah, that was for last week.
Yeah,
Last
I didn't get it.
Okay. Mr. Fox is here. Ms. Fischer is here. Ms. Cannon is here. David is here. Welcome back. The city staff, the city managers, probably off doing 50 billion things. Yeah, city manager stuff. Commander Caufield is here. Mrs. Esparza is here. Ms. Mapes should be here.
I actually talked to her yesterday.
She'll be here. I believe some people may be thinking we're still over at the conference
I
room.
walk over there.
So some people might filter in. So
Yeah.
Thinking they're first.
Got there.
Yeah.
I was there, we both, George and I was there, we both went on Emma, noticed the
Well,
address change.
so about that, Mr. Assistant Mr. Vullo, that's how you say his name,
Yes, sir.
the animal field supervisor, and then Ms. King.
She's not here, she should be here.
Okay. So, again, just to reiterate, if you won't be able to make it to a meeting, just email me. I won't be able to make it to the meeting. So that's fair enough, I believe. That to meet the requirement. Ms. Mapes, and let the record show that Ms. Mapes.
All the doors are locked, wrong
Yeah.
location. Changed it on.
That's what we
All
do.
right. The next item on the agenda is to consider approval of the agenda for the regular meeting of the Animal Advisory Committee on May 29th, 2014.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve the agenda for today.
Second.
We have a second by Mrs. Cannon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None. So the ayes have it. The second item, or the next item is the approval of the minutes. Consider approval of the minutes of the regular meeting on May 15, 2004. And that should have, everyone should have had a copy of those, or received a copy of the minutes. And thank you, Ms. Esparza, for the very detailed and copious minutes of our meeting of last week. Did anybody see any recommended need to add or change anything on the minutes? If not, may I get entertain a motion to approve the minutes for our regular meeting on May 15, 2014? Ms. Petra Cannon made a motion to approve the minutes of May 15. Mr. Gilmore second. Not the emotion, but the motion. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. All right. The next item on the agenda is to discuss and recommend changes or solutions in regard to dangerous dogs and dog at large issue. Now, before we start, as I mentioned last week, we won't get it all ironed out today. That's why we're meeting again why we're meeting again today, because we're not gonna finish everything today. But I would like to let the public that's in attendance know, if you'd like to make a comment or have a question, there are some 3x5 cards that is available. If you have a question, you can write it down, and we will try to insert your question or concern as we proceed through this process. And also, again, just to let you know, this is the committee, so I will demand order and to make sure that we're recognized, and I will try to recognize you if we have time, but if not, it's because we're trying to just get through this process. What's that?
We got one.
I was just noticed, I told her she didn't take those.
Okay, all right, and we already have one. Okay, so that's the way we will proceed. And also we will proceed, I believe, according to the minutes, where we were proceeding was going section by section through the ordinance, and we were actually just highlighting sections of chapter 6 that dealt with specifically with dangerous animals, or the subject matter, fear of dangerous animals and dog at large. So we will continue that routine that we were doing on last week. I think that way we just cover everything, and then we will come back and go to our next agenda item. Okay, so we stopped on 6-122, which was the determination of a dangerous animal. Do we have any input on section 6-22? And actually I do have some input to provide in that I did visit with some residents, and I think that the residents of Killeen, along with animal control, along with PD, as far as the affidavit, sworn affidavit process. Now, if that's something to, what is the traffic flow of those reports as far as sworn affidavits? If a citizen make a sworn statement, what is the flow of those? Will we eventually get the
We are going to take those, what that simply is a statement that has been notarized, that they can do the second from. The key, and one thing in here that I think we do need to look at is section B, which talks about the sworn statement filed upon the personal observation of an animal control officer or an animal control officer determined with animal things based on the alleged complaint and or other circumstances. You may want to look a little bit at the terminology there to clarify that, because I will tell you that if we have run into many instances, I need to tell you the dog is dangerous, I'll tell you everything about the dog is dangerous, but oh my, I don't want to be the one that causes the stuff when the egregious things happens. And what we have is the elements of a severe instance. And because the affidavit is so commonly stated, and my question starts to raise, is are we restricted only if we get an affidavit?
Well, does the affidavit could be by a staff member too.
Well, but it says a personal observation. And that's the problem, is the staff member may collectively by the investigation determine, we've had 10 instances which is one we're working right now. I've had several instances where this dog has done an action that clearly means it could be a danger, but our staff is not personally observing anything. Collectively, they've gathered that information. The parties will tell us about it as a part of the core of the investigation, but they don't want to be, the truth is the citizens don't want to be the bad guy that has to say, I did this to this dog, even though they're afraid of the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Some of them are
Concern
afraid
too.
of the neighbor.
And that's the concern that in talking with citizens. I mean, what if nobody's there? Animal control PD is not there. Or we talking about citizens actually, with a sworn affidavit as far as being notarized? Would that fall into something that would be accepted or?
What do you mean if they didn't get this one affidavit at the animal control, if they did it on their own?
Right.
Yeah, there's no stipulation, I don't think it says, in there that it has to be one that was generated from animal control per se.
It just says the sworn, it's a sworn statement.
So you could get it, I mean, you know, if you're a type of person that knows and familiar with affidavits, you might want to just get it on your own. You could absolutely do that.
I'm just not sure, do we absolutely have to have an affidavit? For example, I have a collective amount of information drawn on one situation. The problem I ran into, I have dangerous dog, which ties me into 10-day timelines. The individual that was involved, that had the personal observation, had left town from a pre-planned event and was gone for a period beyond the time, and we can start to expand some of our review times. But for me to declare it dangerous, according to these, I need that affidavit. And I'm thinking is if the totality of our investigation is sufficient to throw a threat, the affidavit is a later issue, not a mandatory before the fact issue.
Well, it's possible that we could amend it to allow an animal control officer to prepare an affidavit based on credible.
And that would be.
Okay,
that's
but
what
that's
I'm-
something that
that's
the
what
police
I'm-
department does.
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Also, I still think we need a lesser offense than dangerous. Something under 635, under nuisance maybe, where it's not quite as formal, yet it still sends animal control to go visit with that person. Because not every dog that is dangerous, okay? So we've got these lesser offenses, and we do have a problem with citizens not wanting to have their name put on the form. I get it all the time. You can call this and you can call that in. And I don't have a problem doing it, but some people do, and they certainly would have a problem signing their name. So maybe we need a lesser offense. I still like the idea that animal control goes and visits.
And I think we have that. I think the problem maybe in the straightforwardness is not necessarily that we don't have the law, it's maybe that historically we haven't enforced it in the right manner. Under the nuisance, you have a multiple extraneous issue, a large issue. So where we need to look at internally from a policy standpoint, not necessarily ordinance standpoint, is at what is the trigger that says, how many times your dog will be reported at large before I file the nuisance issue? Because the nuisance gives the parameters of to the judge to say, you know what, you've done this and this is the demeanor of your animal, it needs to be put in a cage, it needs to be done. It gives him those parameters. We just historically have not used it strongly.
Does the multiple at large, now does this move into this enhanced at large?
No. Enhanced at large, what we're talking about with enhanced at large is that when a dog is at large, whether it's the first time or the 50th time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't act, but by our dangerous dog definition, we deem it dangerous. So it bites a human, it attacks and kills another animal. If during its at large, it meets those constraints, then it becomes an enhanced penalty.
Where's it going? What section with that? Under dangerous? I mean, under what?
Well, it actually would probably be,
Put it under at large.
it would be under
But-
large.
Because it
would be
is
a
an
nuisance
enhanced
section.
at large.
No, it would be an additional section under at large. So for the penalty side of at large wouldn't change. That's if your dog fails to be restrained in the yard, you fail to keep it on a leash, whatever. Large keeps the same definition. But under that, the penalty, it would have a paragraph which would define a penalty enhancement beyond the class D misdemeanor if the dog does these acts.
Under restraint,
Under restraint, yes.
under 636, okay. So we eventually want to add a whole new section that covers the enhanced at large.
Yes, yes. Because it's really not there.
Right.
With the, and I believe with the affidavit requirement, we're talking about taking a member of the family. I know my dog is a member of my family. So, I mean, we want to be, maybe the neighbors are beefing with each other for whatever reason. I'm going to report your animal and whatnot. So it's got to be some common sense in there to say, well, you know what, it's the humans that have the issue.
Right, because if you lie in your affidavit, you're actually violating.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, and for example, in the policing world, we have the ability in the course of the investigation, I may have uncooperative people that don't want to make the affidavit, but if I collect enough information that shows, hey, this guy's been out 4 times, 3 of those times he confronted people who we were able to talk to at least and verify, he confronted them in a threatening manner. The potential for this dog is dangerous, and then it becomes our affidavit based on the completeness of the investigation, not just that isolated incident.
And Mr. Fox, was that something you was talking about, and I've heard it before, about a type of preventive measure, or say, you know what, kill across the street or across the fence, I mean, that dog was gonna turn through my fence eventually one day. So would that fit?
Well,
Is that what you're
yes.
talking about?
I think they ought to be able to call in to have animal control go visit. If the dog next door, he's in his property, he's in his yard, but he's showing those signs that if he gets through and into my yard, he's going to have me for dinner. Animal control should be able to go talk to this guy.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
And yes, and by the way, back to that enhanced thing, that would raise the like $500 limit to a $2,000.
because it becomes a public health issue.
Okay. So public health, we can look at $3,000.
And the key to the public health, and I go back to this, the key to the public health is there has to be culpable knowledge on the dog owner's part. Well, if we told the dog owner, your dog has done this, and it imposes a threat, or the person reasonably knows, I'm not taking care of my fences, and because of that, he's getting out, then that negligence is a culpable state.
All right. Mr. Gilmore?
About dog bites, we had 100 in the first 4 months.
We've had more than that, actually.
Okay, but does a dog bite, doesn't make it a dangerous dog?
No.
Without cause?
No. The truth is the bulk of our dog bites and cat bites and squirrel bites. We actually had a dog that captured a squirrel and the victim was removing the squirrel from the dog's mouth and the squirrel bit. But the bulk of our dog bites, our animal bites, are in what I call a controlled situation. It's in the home, it's in the yard, it's visiting a friend. It is not at large animals. I'm still going through and tracking each one of those, but the bulk of ours are in control. There is a good percentage, and I don't have a fixed number for you, that are at large.
So, yeah, this is, so that, and we're gonna close this down on section 6-22 here, and move on to something else. But with that, I believe citizens, I think that they may be taking it that when they make a phone call down to animal control or to PD, that, you know, that's an actual complaint. But I think that we need to know that, you know, it's a formal,
They have to do more.
it has to be more done to make this process more formal, other than I've called Commander Caufield 20 times and he hasn't done anything. Well,
Every
you
time I
got,
go there, you're not there and don't want to talk to me.
right, well,
Because you have to formally step out and say, I know this.
but you, and at the same time, they call you 20 times, oh, I must have missed you in the other 1,000 calls and I'm, so, all right. But, yeah, we'll move on to section 6-123, which I believe is a complementary to 6-122, which is the appeal process of animals. I believe who may have had their animal determined to be.
I'm sorry, can I?
Sure, we can go back, sure.
I'd like to back up to the last section.
Okay.
This was talking about filing a dangerous dog, and I'm not sure how to write this in here, but one of the things we've talked about, I would like to look at, and I'm not sure if it's a policy issue of how we approach it, or if it's an ordinance issue of how we handle it. One of the things that this does is it gives us the ability to put the owner on notice that they have a potential dangerous animal. And the first thing that happens is they have 10 days from that day to come into compliance or appeal the ruling of dangerous animal. One of the things that we talked about doing is instead of just arbitrarily having, because right now as an animal control manager, that's a decision that I or John would make. The problem I have is I have 10 days now in which that dog owner can do anything in the world with that dog. I will give you a quote. He got out of the truck somewhere between Well, I think it was by Waco, maybe at a gas station while I was driving down the road. I don't know where my dog's at. What he did is he found out the dog was being filed on dangerous and he took it and left town. And we have that more frequently than I would like to count. What I would like to see is that we change that to show if we intend to file a dangerous, we file an affidavit for a dangerous animal. That affidavit goes to the court, and a part of that affidavit is, and if it is signed off on by the court, it includes a seizure from the court to take the animal at that time.
Your first part of your question is how we would need to address that, and I agree. I think it needs to be part of the ordinance. I don't think having a part of the policy is going to be sufficient for something that level. However, I just want to remind you that we did actually get a consensus from the board at the end of our last meeting that they agree that they would like to see something where seizures are allowed. So it's just a question of, you know, how you write it up is all that's going to go on.
I'm old on this.
Don't
I
worry.
just want to make sure we didn't forget it.
So, do we need to, take a consensus here?
No, I believe that you based on the, you know, when you look at these notes here that we've got, the minutes, the consensus was already made last time, that the board agreed that we should have a seizure policy that would allow the city to seize the animal immediately, therefore not waiting for those 10 days just to see what happens.
All right. So do we need to keep that in place?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I would say that since you guys all agreed that's put now in Commander Caufield's hands to, you know, to draft something for that.
Yes, Mr. Fox?
Does seizing the dog, how does that correspond with council's comments that they don't want dangerous dogs in the city? Will the owner still have the ability to do something with the dog, or once it's seized at the end of the 10 days or whatever, it's going to be euthanized, period, because the council said they don't want it in the city?
I think that would still apply, because here's the first thing, even if we went with the concept of no dangerous dogs in the city, you're still gonna have the review process to determine that. So what this does is put the dog at the shelter, under somebody else's control, until it is done the formal judicial process, and the owner makes a decision, do I wanna appeal it, do I wanna move it, what do I wanna do? It just leaves the dog in a controlled environment until that decision is made.
So who pays for that?
You will.
We will. Okay, so even if the dog is found ultimately not to be dangerous, thanks, that'll be X number of $100
Well, now-
fee, and you know, you get to keep your dog, consider yourself lucky the government was nice enough to free your dog.
Now, the thing is, if he's found not guilty, all we have to do is write into it. If they find him not guilty, the court has to go to the dean and write that.
Okay.
I mean, and you would have time constraints. Like you said, $100, I think our fee is $10 a day for the time.
Yeah.
So if you have a 10-day date, yes, it could be $100, but,
then if they appeal, then the dog will live until the appeal is done.
oh, yes, yes.
And I believe it's written in the ordinance that the judge can allow the person to remove the dog from the city. Isn't that one of the options?
Under our current one, it has to go to court for the dog to be authorized to take it to the city. We can't make that.
And so someone would have that choice. If you've got an Uncle Harry somewhere that's got a big farm that dog would be great for, then you've got another option besides euthanasia or, you know,
So you get a
move
chance.
out of the city.
Right, you get a chance, so you still have a chance to move the dog away.
The big thing is that we don't wind up with the animal suddenly turning up missing.
Missing, right. And, exactly, Mr. Fox?
During that time that the animal's seized, is animal controlling? What if the thing behaves the whole time it's there? I mean, is it going to be part of the process that they evaluate the dog while he's there, or it's just, I mean, or the other extreme, he eats the fence.
I mean, without getting into the court's business, truthfully, that would be when the court would should ask us, what was the demeanor of this animal while it was in your control? And based on our limited contact with it, as we feed it and water it, we'll be able to tell them it did this, it did this.
And I can tell you that's actually happened in prior dangerous dog hearings where people have asked, you know, how has the dog behaved after? We took pictures during the days after. This is our sweet looking dog now. And those kinds of things have all come into evidence. It's really up to the individuals and the city prosecutor
And they
who's
will,
handling the
I mean,
case.
to get him to clean, and they are going to have access to that
Yeah,
dog.
absolutely.
And if he's, some werewolf, they're certainly going to know that.
Well, and and understanding that sometimes the dangerous is situational by the moment and sometimes by the nature of all the time. I'm not gonna measure this, I'm either gonna say we have these events or we have these events.
How frequent are dangerous dog claims in the city that you would be able to forecast the amount of space you're looking at offering up at the shelter? And how is that gonna affect the current operations?
Good question.